Welcome to Coach's Corner. I'm your loan partner, Tim Lee.
And I'm your mortgage coach, Nathan Kerpan.
We have been talking about the big hesitations that buyers are facing as they want to move into the home ownership space, but there's a number of things that are kind of keeping them hesitant or not pulling the trigger or not making offers. And so we've been kind of going through each of these. And today we're going to be talking about multiple offers.
Yeah.
And not every market necessarily deals with it all the time, but
well,
certainly
it ebbs and it flows.
Yeah.
You know, it definitely, it can go by neighborhood,
Yeah.
honestly. School district, I mean, all the things that are driving you to look for houses that you want to become your home. That's one of that psychological differences is we understand that this isn't just house hunting.
Right.
This is home hunting. This is going to be your nest, you know, for you, your family, your loved ones, your safe space.
Yeah. Yeah. And so in kind of our show prep, we were talking about a couple of different situations. One of those is in a multiple offer situation. What often happens is if buyers don't have their financing in order or in place
in advance. Yeah.
And so that's always a challenge.
7:00 on Friday night, you wouldn't believe the number of times we get those phone calls. And they're desperate, right? They're just desperate for the house that just came on the market because the agencies know when to hit that button to make it go live to get the most clamoring for that home, which they're doing their job. As much as that, I made that sound a little negative and a little bit of...
That's what they're supposed to do.
They're doing their job because they represent the seller of the home. They want to get that weekend frenzy of people. And by the way, they're going to be reviewing all offers at noon on Monday.
Right. Give us your top and best offer and get it in there.
And if you don't have your financing, guys, this is serious. You heard what I just said about a house into a home. Is it serious? Because if it's serious, then you need to take the financing of it serious. You need to be prepared. You need to have clarity with certainty. And certainly, we think of ourselves as the Chick-fil-A of mortgage, right? And Chick-fil-A does amazing service inside. They also do amazing service through the drive-thru, right? It's different. We're not going to be able to hang out and chat with you. We know why you're going through the drive-thru. So certainly we will serve you with the heart of value and care through the drive-thru, 7:00 on a Friday. However, our heart would really be for you to have as much clarity and time with certainty in advance. Because let's face it, if you're not, you maybe don't have all of that paperwork sitting there in a nice, neat pile, and you putting yourself through that at 7:00 on a Friday is not healthy. Relationship struggle already.
Yeah. And it's probably more common than we think, where you kind of get caught up into this process. And, I'm thinking of a number of situations where people went to an open house. And they look
just looking. I'm just kicking tires. I'm going to buy in 6 months.
And then it's like, well, wait a minute. Now this is the one.
Right. Here it is, honey.
And so now we're going to put in an offer.
There used to be a sign writer realtors could buy. And it was a writer they put on the sign, a little small thing. And it said, honey, stop the car.
Right. And so, and by the way, the realtor is thrilled to take that offer. However,
what comes with it? If you don't have the financing or heaven forbid, you sit in your car in 5 minutes and get you a pre-qual from Blast Off United Mortgage, if there's a company by that name, sorry. But anyway, you get what I'm referencing, who really just is, again, the Mick Mortgage of the space, trying to churn. And let's face it, in a competitive offer situation, we've seen clients again and again where their offer was put to the bottom of the pile.
Right.
So if it's, honey, stop the car, this is the one, we've walked through it, we love it, and we don't have our ducks in a row, you don't need to be going with Blast Off United. You need to be calling a trusted strategic advisor such as our team.
Right. Well, and what I was going to say is if you can get your pre-qualification in a half an hour, for the biggest financial decision that you're going to make in your life, or one of them, certainly, it's probably not going to be the best pre-qualification or put you in the best position. And by the way, the realtors know that's what that offer is.
They know who they're dealing with.
They know who they're dealing with, and they put it at the bottom of the pile. So you're not going to put yourself in prime position.
Yeah.
The way to put yourself in prime position is to get the horse in front of the cart.
Yes.
And the horse is the money.
Yes.
And so while it's not as necessarily as pretty, the idea is connect with a strategic loan partner.
Yes.
Or your mortgage coach,
right,
whichever one, and start through that process and get that financing in place. And check out our other podcasts where it tells you, here's a bunch of ways that we can give you the true picture of what
clarity.
You can afford.
Yep, clarity with certainty. And again, even if it's 7:00 at night, we leverage technology to enhance our relationship side of our business.
Right.
So much like Chick-fil-A, who can still serve you through the drive-through care and value and service, we have the technology and tools that Blastoff has, but we have it with a personal care and a detailed strategic coach's care. Because here's the reality. We don't issue pre-quals. I would even argue that our pre-approvals aren't even pre-approvals. They're actually loan commitments. They're early conditional loan commitments that are just lacking the property that qualifies to be financed. And so, and let's face it, our strategic partners in the market, I had a phone call just a little while ago where the client called me and they said, hey, I was told that I need to be pre-approved by you or the listing agent. Or maybe, let me put it this way. The listing agent clearly told him, bring me the same offer with a benchmark pre-approval from Nathan Kerpan, and the house is yours. And both the buyer's agent and the buyer were like, who's this Nathan Kerpan, right? Like, we need to talk to this guy. And this was one of our heroes. It was one of our veterans, and we serve as a veteran mortgage advisor. And there's a lot, like if you're just dealing with a MIC Veterans United, oops, I didn't mean that, sort of mortgage, oops, that itself is like they're mudslingers. They're just doing that typical volume pre-qual. And I've heard it again and again. I'm picturing families right now in my mind's eye who lacked the clarity and certainty that they deserved.
Well, and we talked about in a previous podcast hitting the easy button, and there is no such thing as an easy mortgage or an easy scenario. So if you're working through this and it seems to be like, hey, this is going so well, it's so easy, something is about to go wrong, and you need to get that strategic partner that's going to come alongside and really help see what those pitfalls are.
And we're not here to say it has to be hard or over complex, but in a particular client I'm thinking of out in Missouri, you know, he got roped into that, and they were using the right names and the right language because he was a veteran and they had that in their name. And ultimately I said, well, let's check this out. And we did their pre-approval, and we did our smart homeownership analysis, which every one of our clients, no matter the walk of life, get with every pre-approval that we do. He was like, man, he goes, Nathan, he goes, I don't know why I didn't just call you, but they got me. They got me through the interwebs, right? And he goes, you've just already answered more in 10 minutes than they had in 30 days working with him. And so
what would you tell somebody that is kind of already into the process with a lender, whoever that might be, and then they were watching this podcast and they're saying, wait a minute, coach is saying that I should do maybe XYZ. Obviously they could go and talk to their lender.
We want you to win that competitive offer, multiple offer situation.
Right. So, I mean, obviously they can go talk to their lender and say, hey, is there anything that I'm missing here? But what would be another
Another option?
Another option.
Well, the simple option is benchmarkminamerica.com.
Yes.
Right? Give us a call, shoot us a text, 314-551-9587. But the truth is, you just deserve absolute clarity. And when I say absolute clarity, our smart homeownership analysis that we provide, no matter what walk of life you're from, will give you that certainty of like literally a margin of $50 on what your out-of-pocket investment should be. If you don't have that level of granular level of clarity before you've even hit the streets, you're being underserved. And when I got into the business, and I failed forward when I got into the business 26 years ago, nobody was teaching this. I learned this through seeing my own experience of lack of clarity of buying a home, the other experiences that even like my mentors weren't mentoring me on in the mortgage space. And I'm like, this, like, we do this every day. This doesn't have to be this unclear.
Right.
But our industry, and I'm calling you out, industry, mortgage industry, has gotten lazy because this is such a big and important purchase for people. They almost tolerate being drugged through hell to get there, and it shouldn't be that way.
Right.
That's why we're building such a clamoring here with Mortgage Coach.
Yeah, well, and I'm thinking
Sorry.
through what we would encourage you to do is reach out to us, and again,
you don't have to settle.
Yeah, just give us an opportunity to really show you the value of what we do here and put a second pair of eyes on it. And frankly, if you think that the deal that you already got is great,
I told a client just the other day, I said, there are certain unique attributes of this that you may need to go and just stay right there.
Yes.
And I was at peace with that.
Right.
I know, and that is not how we make a living, but caring for people, meeting them where they are, sometimes meaning releasing them. Even the young man this morning and the circumstances with him and his family being involved, I said, look, I want to work, if we're going to do this, I'm happy for their input, but I want to work directly with the borrower, not somebody that's puppet mastering the borrower, because the borrower, the buyer, the homeowner needs to know. And so we love you, parents, but we need to at least be doing this together, because he knew so little about what was going on with his purchase that he was, I won't go as far as call him a straw man, but
but this goes
really
back to the hesitation. Why are people hesitation? Because they don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
And then if they don't have someone who's coming along as a coach and a teacher to them and a mentor to walk them through the process.
And that's what this parent knows. This parent knows that the majority of the industry that he's experienced in his entire life of buying and selling homes, because he had done it several times over, they're just yes men.
Right.
They're just, here's a cheeseburger, here's a cheeseburger.
Right.
So if that's all it is that's ever been to him, why should he trust that his son's going to get any better?
Or maybe he's never seen anything different.
Yeah.
In the mortgage field.
Yeah.
And so even with my situation, I came to Benchmark for a refi, and because of the way my pay was set up at the time,
things changed. Yeah.
It wasn't possible to do it at the time, and there was an opportunity that I had somewhere else. So Nathan encouraged me to talk to this other individual, and we were able to get it done. And so we're willing to do that.
Yeah, we're not here to disparage the entire industry. We're not the only echelon. There's so many shout outs I could give right now, through the Mortgage Coach community, for that matter. But the reality is there's a lot less of us than there are just the bad apples, or dare I say, the ones that just don't know what they don't know.
Right.
And you deserve better. You deserve to be number one in that competitive offer situation. And these things you hear us talking around are exactly how you're going to be at the top of that competitive list versus the bottom.
Right.
Let alone the relationships, the communication, and all the technology that we'll still leverage to your convenience.
Yeah, so let's get you in a position that you can make that offer with confidence, with clarity, know what your payment's going to be, what those things are going to look like, and give us a chance to take a look and give you that strategic review. I'm your loan partner, Tim Lee.
And I'm your mortgage coach, Nathan Kerpan. Have a great day.